Hello, my friends. This is Dr. Ginny Barrow. I want to share with you something that impacted me greatly yesterday. I was catching up with an old friend, and we got to the topic of how is her husband's job going. And she mentioned that he was miserable at work. And I said, "What's going on?" And she said, "Well, the people that he works with are not really friendly. His manager doesn't even know what he does or what he's up to or meets with him to check in on him. And he feels completely disconnected. He works from home most of the time and he goes into the office just to kind of stay in contact. But when he's in the office, he says hello to people as he walks by them and they don't really respond. And as I was listening to my friend, I got so sad because I thought to myself, who wants to go to work in a place where you feel like you don't belong, where you don't feel welcomed? And because what we do as leaders is to try to bring out the best in people, I thought that this would be a really important topic to bring up to you, my audience. What type of leader are you? Are you the type of leader who stays in contact with your people, who knows what they're up to, what they're doing, how they're feeling in terms of the work, and how they're showing up in terms of their productivity? How are you supporting your employees? How are you helping them through obstacles that they may be going through? These are really important questions because I know that for many of us, we are so tired. We are tired of having to run it all, having to do it all, spinning plates, burning the candle on both ends. I get it. I've been there. And I've also know that the best performance from our teams and the people that work with us comes from them feeling seen and heard, understood, connected to the vision and the mission of the organization, of the team, connected to the projects that we're working on because they know what those projects mean and how they impact the bottom line of the company and how they help us make the best products that we can and provide the best services that we can. What type of leader are you becoming? Are you a self-aware leader, somebody who can look in the mirror and say, yes, I do all these things, Jenny. I do my best to connect with my people, to bring out the best in them, to understand their value, to understand their superpowers, to give them assignments that match with those superpowers. That's the kind of leader that I'm becoming. And if that's you, congratulations. And if you're the first type of leader that we described here, which is the disconnected leader, the one that doesn't really care about what's happening with your people, this is my call to action for you. Do you remember any experiences you've had where you were working for someone that meets the criteria that I described at the beginning? Do you remember what it felt like when you worked for someone like that? How did that feel for you? How energized were you to go to work or wake up in the morning to do your job when you worked for a leader who was disconnected, who was uncaring? And if that is the leader that you want to be, by all means, we all have the freedom to do whatever we want. And if you realize that you've been doing this and that perhaps it's time to do something differently and to zoom out, to look at the big picture and see how many more benefits we can get when we are connected as leaders, connected to ourselves, self-aware of our behavior, and are able to connect with the people that are working with us, with our teams. It's a whole different ballgame. The level of productivity that you will see from your team will be unlike any other. And the level of health and well-being that you will champion and cultivate in your team will be like no other. So I invite you to look in the mirror, to reflect on the type of leader you have been and to make a decision as to what type of leader you want to be. And I say this with love and compassion so that I don't have to have these types of conversations with people in my network, like my friend who was sharing with me what an awful experience her husband is having at his new job because the people are not friendly. His manager doesn't really care, at least that's the appearance, and he feels like he doesn't belong there. If you resonate with this message, if you are ready for a change and to do things differently and you don't know how, then I invite you to set up a complimentary strategy session with me at callwithginny.com. And if you're ready to take your leadership to a whole new level of connection and caring and well-being, you can also reach me at callwithginny.com. Live with purpose, live with joy.